Hello, talented people. This is Catrina Frison of Banner Media Group, and I just wanted to share something with you that I think will encourage you. We have all heard the phrase people say, "Follow your dreams," but I disagree with that sentiment. I understand what people mean when they say that, but I want to come right out the gate and say it is important that you follow God. That you follow God. And I'm going to tell you why. There are some of you out there who have big dreams, and you're really afraid of the dream. Like it seems too big, it seems like you can't do it, it seems beyond you, it seems bigger than you. You're wondering, how do I get it done? Is this really, am I why am I having these thoughts? Why do I have these desires to see this happen in my life? And I am here to tell you that there is a very clear reason um, why you have that dream. God gave it to you. Clear and simple. God gave you that dream. And I want to give you a couple of examples as it relates to that. And I'm going to show up in numerous videos just talking about this very thing. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go to Genesis 37 because I feel like this is a perfect example. Now, I won't go through the whole thing, so I'll just tell you, when you finish watching this, go ahead and read Genesis 37 if you have a Bible. You can always look it up online if you don't have a Bible, but Genesis 37. And I want to talk about Joseph because, let me see, I'm trying to move my camera here. Joseph was a teenager who had a lot of brothers, right? And Joseph had two dreams. He was 17 years old, okay? So you may be a young person, and you don't have to be a young person to hear this. I'm just saying, a lot of kids are open to dreams all the time. When you ask a young person, a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They can tell you something. Now, it may seem outlandish to you as an adult, but that kid really believes at that moment that they want to be whatever that is. And I'll get into that. But let me just go back to Joseph real quick. So Joseph, just looking at my time, Joseph had a dream. He had two dreams, actually. Now, the first dream that he had, and I'm just looking at, I printed out my scriptures, right? He told his brothers. Now, let me set up the scene just a little bit in case you don't know this story at all. The reality of it is, there was a man named Jacob, and he had a bunch of sons. And Joseph, he had given a multicolored coat, and he was the only son who got that coat. So the other brothers were a bit jealous that he was more favored by the dad than the rest of them. Okay, so keep that in mind. Well, anyway, Joseph had a dream. Went to sleep, had a dream. So he says, listen to the dream. He says, we were out in the field tying up bundles, okay? And suddenly my bundle stood up, and your bundles all gathered around and bowed low before mine. Now, he's just sharing the dream with his brothers. He doesn't necessarily know what that means, but he's just telling them, this is what the dream was. Now, because they're already jealous of him, you know how it is. When you already feel some kind of way about a person, then everything they say and do comes through that filter. Talk about that later. And so they're like, who do you think you are, kind of thing. You think you're going to reign over us, kind of situation. And that was that. Well, he had another dream. But this time, he says, and his father is in earshot, he says, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed low before me. Now, his father kind of, rebuked him like, so you're trying to say your mother and I and your brothers, we all going to be bowing before you? Is that what you're trying to say? Now, of course, this made the brothers even more upset. But the father kept this in mind. It's like he wondered, like, okay, what is this? This is the second dream that my son has had that sounds, way out there. Now, what I want to say about that is you may be a dreamer. You may be a literal dreamer. Meaning you go to sleep, you have a dream, you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I dreamed that. Um, but you don't really know what it means. It seems weird. It seems strange. It just seems like, what was that? And the thing about it is, this was a setup. This was the beginning of God speaking to Joseph. Now, let me just say it this way in the context of entertainment. I, as a 12-year-old, had a dream. And when I say that, I don't mean I went to sleep and I saw something. It was like it was deposited in my heart. Like when people ask me, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I started out saying, I want to be a singer. As a little girl, I want to be a singer. 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 And then as I grew up, singer turned into vocalist. It turned into recording artist. Like I wanted to hear my song on the radio. I wanted to be on TV and on stage, all of that, right? I wanted to sing so badly, like for the world. Now I already was singing in my home, at school, at church, wherever I could sing, I was already doing that where I was. But the dream I had was to sing for everybody in the world. Okay? And at the time that I was saying that at 12 years old, people thought, oh, that's cute. Really. I've had people tell me, you can't make money doing that. That's not a real job. Like, I mean, are you sure you can do that? I mean, are you sure you know how to sing? Yeah, I don't know if you can sing that good. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard it all. But I was not swayed at all. And the funny thing about it, I can't tell you why I wasn't swayed. I just wasn't. I was determined. I'm just that way. I'm built that way. If I make my mind up about something, you're not changing it. And unless God Himself comes along and like, look here. But it was my dream, and I, it was like all I thought about. It was all that I was. I mean, I just could not get away from singing. I loved music. I sang every day. I sang every day. I sang every day. I sang every day. Every talent show I could get in, every Christmas program I could be in, every time I could be on stage. That is what I pursued to do as a young person, without a doubt. Now, if you want to hear more about this story and how this story developed, because I eventually did get my big break, to enter into the entertainment industry. If you want to hear more about that, then what you'll need to do is go to CatrinaFrison.com. Go ahead and get a hold of Entertaining the Godly Life. I wrote a book about that whole experience. So go ahead and get that. CatrinaFrison.com. CatrinaFrison.com. But here's the thing that I want to tell you. What was happening, like I said, God was speaking to Joseph. He was giving him a glimpse of his future. Now, I want to give you another scripture, and then I promise you I'm not preaching. I'm just going to give you a couple scriptures because I want you to see in the Bible where this is very clear. Job 33, verses 14 and 15 say thus: Indeed, God speaks once or twice, yet no one notices it. In a dream, a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people while they slumber in their beds. I want you to know that when you dream, when you literally go to sleep and you dream something, God is speaking to you about something. He is speaking to you about something that pertains to you. Even if you see other people, there is a reason why He showed you that dream. Now, when it comes to the kind of dream, you have a dream in your heart to start a business, to become a model, to become an actor, to become a singer, whatever that case, He's giving you that dream. If you see yourself on stage, you see yourself on the runway, you see yourself on the big screen, you see yourself cooking for celebrities, whatever the case is, being a big influencer, if you see that, if you have a vision of that, don't let it go. Don't let anybody stop you. You may not know how to start, but don't let it go. What I want to encourage you to do, I want to encourage you to do a few things. One, you need to have a pen and a pad next to your bed at all times. If you are or journal, you need to keep a journal by your bed. Even if you got to go get a composition book, that's like $1.25, right? In today's time. Um, get you a journal so that when you wake up, the minute you wake up, you grab it and you write down everything that you remember about that dream. Everything. Colors, people, if you recognize them, was it quick, slow motion, whatever details you can remember, every detail that you can remember, write it down. And then let's say you had a dream, because this happens too. You had a dream and you wake up and you forgot it. It's just gone. The prayer you need to pray is, Lord, bring this dream to my remembrance. Help me remember this dream. And when you do, write it all down. Everything you can remember. Even if you can only remember a third of the dream, write the third down. And then you want to ask the Lord to make the revelation of your word, meaning the Bible. Give me a word that makes this clear to me. Give me some clarity about this dream. And then, Lord, give me instructions about this dream. And I know all of this is kind of a deep talk, but what I'm saying to you is God, like I said in the beginning, God gives you dreams. You may have something that seems terrifying. We call them nightmares, right? But there's a reason why you had that nightmare. He's saying something to you. It could be a warning. It could be that it could be an indication that the enemy is after you. Oh, I mean, listen, God is amazing, and He's there to help. He's here to help you. He's here to help you. So you listen for the instructions. Lord, give me instructions. When I first, and I'll tell you this, my own testimony. When I was in college, and I really, I had rededicated my life to God. After some time of being away from Him, I started dreaming. I mean, I was always a dreamer, but I started dreaming very clear. I mean, like when I woke up, I could remember everything, and it was real. It was very real. Now, I didn't know to write it down and all of that at the time, even though I was a journaler, but I was like, okay, it was so real that I couldn't forget it. You know what I mean? And it would always include people that I knew. And I remember a time when I had a dream about a friend of mine, classmate, and it was so real. And so for me, all I know is I had a dream. It's no big deal. But I saw her the next day, and I said, "Girl, I had a dream about you." And so I began to tell her about the dream. Her eyes widened, and she said, "Catrina, you may be prophetic." I was like, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know. I never heard that word before. She said, "That happened in my apartment just last night." And I was like, oh, wow. And again, it didn't have anything to do with me in terms of, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That was the beginning, though, of so much more that God would do with my life, which is why I know firsthand how dreams work. And what I'm saying to you, even with all that has happened in my career in entertainment, God, as a young child, He gave me a glimpse of my future. And so many things that I saw then, I live now. So again, firsthand, I know how wonderful dreams work. Now, the thing is, if you have the dream of becoming a singer, actor, model, creative and all of that, what I would say to you is, and you're like, I don't know how to start. I mean, I want to do this, but I don't know where to get started. I don't know if I have the talent. I don't know if, you got all these questions, you got all this anxiety about what to do and how to do it and where to go. I don't really know anybody, that kind of thing, right? What I'm saying to you is go to bannerexcellence.com. I'd love to talk to you sign up for a professional chat. If you've got goals, you've got dreams in the entertainment industry, and you want some help in terms of getting started, you want some training in terms of mastering your craft, becoming really good so that you can be the professional that you desire to be, go to bannerexcellence.com and look us up. I'd love to help you with either one, mastering your craft or impacting the generation with your gifts and talents. Have a great day.